Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've pressed that button. I don't know how many times. Go on, ready, go.
Don't think go away with his cup.
No, I put it in the sink.
Don't forget to put it in the sink, mate, John.
No, wait, no,
Wash your dishes while you're there.
I want to hear this.
Sorry.
No one else heard. No one else heard. Fine.
I wanted to hear who won the washing up
Let's get on
argument.
with this. We have time for Lindsey and Daniel. Okay. Right. Okay. All right. Can I go?
Yeah, go.
Welcome to tonight's very polished, seamless team call with our incredible guest speakers, Blue Diamonds, Lindsey and Daniel. Oh yeah, we're so excited. It's so lovely to see all your support, all your chat and everything, and they feel very loved, as I'm sure they'll say. So anyways, first of all, before we hand over to them and find out about their journey and all the parts of it, a couple of announcements just to keep on reminding about.
Is that my part?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Announcements.
Convention.
Oh yeah, convention. Sorry, that was a brain. Yes, so we have convention coming up in May. Don't forget.
Yes.
Those of you that have got tickets or haven't got tickets, I think there might be a few floating around. If you do want to go and haven't got a ticket, let us know. I think someone's just put something on Silver Blossom, so it is sold out event, but it's it'll be
If you're
great.
desperate to go, I'm sure we can find some way.
Yes, and those that are going, there's a team WhatsApp. If you're not on that, it's going to be a wonderful event. So get in touch, please. We'd love to chat to or see you at convention. So please come and say hi. But we'll do more announcements about the convention at the time. We won't go into that too much. Then the next one was
And the top and roller.
our top and roller prize. So if you weren't on our last team call, top and roller prize is a ticket to Game Changers with Devon Banderson, which is worth about €1,300.
€500, yeah, dollars. You're right.
Dollars, £1,500. And the top enroller this month for the team is going to get a free ticket. So well worth winning top enroller. We'll put out probably tomorrow who's winning, who the top 10 are.
Yeah, we really wanted to do that because it's not going to be, we've probably heard that it's the last one for a while in the UK, and it's made such an impact on us and lots of other of you as well. And so I thought this would be a lovely gift to do.
And if you don't know what Game Changers is, basically it's a coaching.
It's an experience,
with
not just a coaching thing. It takes you on an incredible mindset journey. And have a look on the link as well for more information.
Yeah, more information on that. I think that's it. Over to Daniel and Lindsey.
Okay, so yes, we are very chuffed to have them. They've gone to France as well. So we're very lucky that they agreed. So we're really grateful that you agreed when you're in France, having a little bit of a holiday experience as well, guys. So thank you for coming on. Unmute yourselves. Come into the room.
Well, there was something before Daniel and Lindsey, actually. You just went, it was about our German team. You just went to Germany, didn't you? And had a wonderful experience.
Okay, sorry, Lindsey and Daniel. Yes. Just, you wanted to just say something about that?
Well, I just thought you had such a lovely time with them.
I did.
Probably worth mentioning.
I did. Do you know what? I went to Germany and went to the German spring tour in Hamburg this weekend, and met some of the German team, and it was so lovely and so inspiring. And it reminds me of a couple of things. You know, whenever you give, you always get way more back, always. Like every time, I'm still surprised. You know, I go and offer to give, and I just get so much back and learned so much. And the main things I kind of really just remember, it reminded me of a couple of things. That all of us have this incredible power within us. And I think sometimes over time, this can get beaten out of us for a bit, right? And we can doubt ourselves, we can doubt our journey, we can doubt many things and feel like we need outside circumstances to help and support us. And actually, it's all inside of us. And as we get more and more in touch with our vision and just get into those messy action, is what I call it, those little steps of messy action, then that belief builds and you start to experience that power inside you. and that confidence grows, and you realize I can do this, and it's just the next step each time. And also just the importance of love, really, like, you know, as leaders, whether you've got someone under you yet or not, you're still a leader, and you will be a leader as your team grows. And sometimes, you know, you can feel like you've got these failings and you don't feel like you can really help enough. Whatever your shortfalls or your weaknesses you think you have, it really doesn't matter. The most important thing that I realize people want to feel is to be seen and to be loved. And actually, this is a perfect lead on to Lindsey and Daniel, because I think this is something that they do so wonderfully. I think, you know, we've seen how they built this incredible community in their team and helped everyone to have this sense of belonging and feel seen and loved. And I think that's a big part of their success, and they're great examples to us in that way. In many ways, that's one of them. So now we shall, yes, Lindsey and Daniel, welcome to the room. Unmute yourself and we're going to focus on your amazing journey.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. So thought we'd start with just like an outline of the journey, just because I thought that would be a good place to start. For those of you who don't know, most of you probably do, is that I started with doTERRA just a few months after Bex and Nathan. Pootling was my hobby, as Daniel would call it, and then got to silver, and we were making sure that we wouldn't be holding Bex and Nathan back from being diamond at that point, so I needed to make sure I was silver. And then through a whole series of events, then Daniel joined me, and it's been an incredible journey since then. So that was kind of the first 2 years, and now it's been almost 7 years now of doing it together. And that's been like no experience I ever would have foreseen when it was my hobby back then, hey. And so what we wanted to highlight is some of the things, and I know there's been a few questions that Bex and Nathan were going to ask. And one of your questions was, when did we go all in? Is that right?
Yes, both of you separately, because I know it was different times.
Yeah. So we actually, while we were muted, I was like, when did I go all in? I'm like, I don't know. When did you go all in? Anyway, so I actually just had a little reflect about that. And I think I went all in when my pelvis was fixed. And that was really a massive turning point for me, because I felt like this now became more a responsibility, that actually I have something that could change someone's life the way it has for me. And now it's kind of a responsibility. I can't just sit on that and have a lovely time while other people are having the same experiences I'd had, whether from the same thing as me or something different. You know, the bottom line is I can change things, I can make things better. And then you lose sight of that, you get complacent, and then I had to be all in again, and then all in again. And so I realized, actually, I don't think there's a one point where I was all in, because you just forget that you're all in and you get distracted with the fact that this is the norm, and then have to recommit again, and then something else happens. And so that's why I don't think there's one moment. The pelvis fixing was definitely one big moment, but I think after that it was just over and over again. And I'd say a massive recommitment, a kind of an all-in moment was 2 years ago. We were discussing, or maybe 3 years ago actually, we were discussing, like, is this really our everything? Like, do we want this to be our everything? Should I go back to teaching? Do you need to go and get a different job? You know, and we had this other serious conversation. So we discussed it. We had a look at some of the options, and we agreed that actually nothing, absolutely nothing, no other option would give us the same financial reward and the same time freedom. We could have the same financial reward, but certainly not the time freedom. And we could have the time freedom, but not the financial. We could not have this combination. And so that was again another moment. Okay, this is our everything. And then again, a year ago, we decided, okay, it's time. We're going to go for Blue Diamond. We're going to work with our team. We're going to go for Blue Diamond. And so that was a massive all-in moment that actually we could see it happening. So there's been a lot of things along the way for me anyway, and moments of doubt. And I think you've just mentioned that, Bex, that there are moments of doubt where you kind of get a little bit complacent about the fact that this is just how everything is for everyone, and actually it's really not. And so, yeah, they've been my all in over and over again. And I think that's really important, that you're reviewing yourself all the time. Are you all in? Like, why are you not all in? Or what would make you all in? And what are the benefits that you're currently experiencing? And what could you get if you did go more all in? You know, so that would be me.
Yeah.
What about you?
I love
Yeah,
that. And
for
sorry,
me,
go on, you go.
no, go for it. No, you go, Bex.
Okay, just a little comment. I was going to say, you also mentioned, which I really liked, like catching what you have got, like the gratitude, just suddenly a bit of a wake up call going, hang on, you know, because sometimes another option can seem appealing because the grass is always greener, right? Always. And you always think, oh, maybe this would be better than actually, I love that you realize, no, actually, this is incredible. What we've got is incredible. And that made you then go, okay, yeah, let's do this again. Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Funny how you had to
Yeah, well,
reevaluate that. You know, it's funny how you had to reevaluate that for yourself. Sorry, Daniel. Have to, you know, you have to constantly reevaluate and just go and remind yourself of like, why doTERRA? Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I've always liked, when people aren't super positive and they're actually like, this is really hard at times, because sometimes it's really easy and we get enrollments and they just come and it's great. And it's really easy to be confident and so pro doTERRA when things are going well. Like, you know, it's really easy to have faith in those points, but it's actually when things are a little bit tougher. I like how Lindsey said it was a conversation that we were having. It definitely was not a conversation. It was me getting quite worked up about it. And I know when I was all in, and I think I said this to you, Lindsey, I said, I don't need you to make doTERRA successful. It's already happening. Our leaders are already committed. I know what I'm doing. I can do this. Go. Obviously, the truth was I would be absolutely crushed if Lindsey left, but I had to be confident at that time. But really, it was sort of like 4.5 years ago. I was like, actually, I'm starting to really get a grip here. And it's that point where you go, I wish I could go back to the beginning with what I know now, what an impact it would have. But actually, that's part of the journey, isn't it? It allows you to relate to people. So when our leaders now go through similar challenges, I can actually say, it's okay, we had this happened, this happened. And then to push it even further, with regards to doTERRA, we had to do some restructuring. We reached diamond, but we went back to gold for quite some time. And that was a real kick, because I remember, and I even remember having this conversation with both Nathan and Becky saying, oh, this is where it's going to take off because this is what happened to us. And it actually didn't. And that I felt quite, oh, why is that? Because it's our own path. And as we look back, I love that diagram. I don't know if you've seen it, where you think it's going to be a straight path, but actually it's this crazy kind of thing. And I wouldn't change any of that for the world, because it's made me who I am now and able to, I think, be a better person, better dad, better husband, better leader, better, you know, doTERRA wellness advocate. And then another point is when we remortgaged our house. Cash flow was not great at one point as we were rebuilding. And I was kind of like, yeah, we remortgaged, and, you know, and that helped level things out a bit. And if you know anything like me, Lindsey's the sensible one when it comes to spending. I'm the one who's definitely like want to keep this certain lifestyle going. And now certainly seeing a blue diamond paycheck is amazing. And we would like that every month, not just for the money that it comes, but from the impact we can have to help others, especially, you know, whether it's with our children, with the challenges they've had, with family members, where it could really come in handy to help them, as well as our team members, and to do that. So that's one of the things we love, isn't it? When we can actually give oils to people and just help. I think that's so powerful to be able to do that.
I love that. I've done that quite a lot. I think it's true. Seeing a need and being able to fix it is amazing. It's definitely one of my absolute favorite things, is seeing a need and like, actually, I can sort it.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you do give oils. And I remember at the beginning when I started doTERRA thinking, oh, I'd love to just give people these oils because I know what impact, you know, people say they can't afford them. I was like, oh, I can't wait till I can just give them. And we do too sometimes, you know, it's that balance. You want to empower them more because they need to understand and they need to get their own account in time. And sometimes, yeah, that's the gift of having more money and oils, more oils.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's friends and family that we can just kind of go, oh yeah, here you go, just this, you know, this is an issue, here you go, just have that for my friends and stuff. So that's more for that. Not at all of our classes, otherwise I don't think we'd have reached Blue Diamond.
Yeah, it's definitely not a duplicable thing, that one, but yeah.
No, it's a nice thing. Daniel, and also you sold your car, right? At the one car, which
Yeah,
you know Daniel, who loves cars, like that was a massive thing for you, right? I remember that, like.
I mean, I should add that doTERRA drove us to financial ruin, and we had to remortgage and sell our car to survive. We had a lot of things that we needed to put money towards, some quite personal things that were very, very expensive, that we needed to do. And one of the things I do like is that I guess we did go all in early because I didn't get another job. I was going to start a smart home company. I had it all set. It was going to be kind of like a franchise from America. And then Lindsey said, why don't you do this for 6 months? Well, it's been over 6 years now. And then I remember Nathan taking me to breakfast, a very famous breakfast. I'm afraid it wasn't a healthy one. It was a fried breakfast, and we even had Dr. Pepper to drink. But he showed me his back office and kind of showed me how it worked. And it was those famous words of, if I can do it, you can do it. And I thought, yeah, you're right. If you could do it, I could do it. I still haven't done it as well, but we're trying.
Better.
And
I must say, your example of what you've done in sharing the oils and helping people, the growth that we've seen with you, the impact that it's been on you and your family has been really inspiring to us. You know, you're some of our best friends in the world. We love spending time with you. We love being able to travel and work together, and our kids, you know, being able to we have so many happy doTERRA memories together that have been so impactful in ours and our children's life. It's not just about selling oils. It's about so much more, and it's just been huge for us.
That's lovely. And I loved, you know, you guys had that entrepreneurial mindset. Like, people do see the success on the outside and they don't know the things that people are doing behind the background. And the fact that you know, you had to do that. And I know it wasn't just doTERRA that caused you to do that. Like you said, there were other things that you needed some money for, but you had that vision, you knew where you were going, you had that hope more than, I mean, you have belief, but you kind of almost like fingers crossed, aren't you? Like, I really hope this works. Even though you do believe it because you'd seen us do it, like you said, there is still that kind of like, well, we're all in, we're going for this, we're hoping, right? It's like a lot of hope, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It is hope, but also, like for me, action, but also let's call a spade a spade. doTERRA is a $2 billion company, yet in the UK, only 13,000 people are ordering every month. That means there's a bazillion people for us to share the oils with. We have the best resources. We have the European office so close in Milton Keynes, London, as they like to call it. But it's so great. Like, there's so many tools that it's such an amazing time to do doTERRA now. And that's why I get so excited about our leaders and being able to see them grow. And the thing I love when they say is like, we're all in with doTERRA, we just want to do it even faster and get there. And I love the excitement that I see with them. And it's just been thrilling.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
I was gonna say, and you've got some amazing leaders now. And we've had some for a while, but it hasn't always been like that, has it?
No.
No.
Yeah, we've had some that have been with us like but with their own kind of ups and downs and their own journeys as well. They've been with us for a long time. I think we have definitely, and I find it interesting, and I know quite a few of you are on tonight, but I do find it interesting that the phase that we were in at that moment in our business has attracted the kind of people that are in that place. So, as I say, I was kind of pootling at the beginning, so we attracted pootlers. and then we kind of went more all in, and so we attracted more people who are all in, and then it's kind of built from there. And now we're really attracting people who really want to, like, movers and shakers, and we can see that. And so it definitely comes back to, like, be the builder you want to attract, because whether you like it or not, you're going to attract them. So if you're not happy with how things are going, then get cracking on what you're doing, because those are the builders that are going to come to you. You know, the ones that don't have enough time, that are not quite all in, and who are just doing on the side. Well, that's who I was, so that's who I attracted. And so I think I can definitely see, and we have some incredible leaders, and one of our favorite things, and like one of the highlights of this has been like our team time. We've now created like a tradition that we get together every January with some of our core leaders, and it's just, I absolutely love it. Like, we just have so much fun, as well as obviously a lot of productive and, you know, work and things. And so I think that's probably one of our greatest things, is events, being around good people, being around inspirational people who are wanting to make an impact and a difference in the world, as well as their own lives and in their own worlds. And I think that's so uplifting. And I think we possibly take for granted sometimes that that's not everyone. And because we are surrounded by people like this in doTERRA, we kind of think, well, you know, everyone's kind of ready to go and ready to make something better because it's not good. And actually I meet so many people, of which some of my really close friends is actually, they don't have that, like, right, well, something's not working, let's change it, let's make it different, let's do a different way. And it actually breaks my heart sometimes to see them just doing the same miserable things over and over. And I love, this is what, like, doTERRA, the main thing of doTERRA is that if it's not working, do something different, like change up what you're doing. And that's one of the key things I think for me in doTERRA is, if you're not enjoying your business, like, go and do something different. Don't go and do the things that you enjoy that are going to make this better. And I think that when it goes a bit, and there are times when it goes a bit stale, right?
Yes, definitely.
And you kind of think like, oh my gosh. And I bet, so you can definitely relate to that. So go and do the stuff that you love doing, you know. You know, like, go and do the things that you're passionate about, go and create workshops that you want to go to. And I think that kind of brings it back. And so that's the key, is that if it's not working, then change something, do something differently. And we certainly have, and there's been, well, we've made a lot of changes over the years. One of them is not spending too much time on like resources. We try not to do that too much. Always coming back to, and this is one of the key lines from March that Daniel said to me, because I can get distracted on stuff, like just stuff that needs to be done, and it needs to be done now in my mind. And so Daniel then would, at the beginning of March, I was working on something. So why are you doing that now? Does that need to happen now? And then his line was, if it's not working on getting us to Blue Diamond, then don't do it this month. And I was like, okay, super clear. And actually, I think, and it kind of comes back to, some of you maybe were at leadership in Sicily. I don't know how many years, 2 years, 3 years ago. And it was one of the gold medalists, and his thing was, will it make the boat go faster? And if the answer is no, then stop doing it. If it's not going to make the boat go faster, then stop doing it. Same thing. Is it going to get us to Blue Diamond? Then, you know, then don't do it. Or maybe don't do it right now, and allocate an hour for it in a month when we're not really trying to progress at a level beyond that. So yeah, I think someone's saying it's good discipline. It really is to kind of allocate, okay, which are the actual make the boat go faster activities, and which ones are shelvable for a time and then come back to. And I think that's been really important. So
yeah, I think ultimately you need to humble yourself as well, like accept if something isn't working as you want it to. And sort of we're always looking to kind of adapt and evolve what we do. But certainly if it's not broke, don't try fixing it. One of the first things I did when joining doTERRA is redesign everything Becky and Nathan did. While I was redesigning it, they were getting to Presidential Diamond. I should have just left it because it was okay. And it's so interesting.
It was raw. It was raw.
Yeah. It was hand-drawn sketches, beautifulness.
But the point being is that if you have 10 hours in your week to do doTERRA initially, what are you using those 10 hours to actually build your business? You can spend it on Canva, YouTube, messaging people, mentoring people that you think are builders when they're not. They never asked to be. You've over romanticized them into a builder. and you've spent 10 hours and then you're paying 200 PV that month and you're like, doTERRA's not making me any money. Well, because you're not doing anything. And you must forgive me for being so direct, but I've spent so long seeing people invest time in doTERRA and not go anywhere when they had all the tools and everything to be anything they wanted it to be. But we just get busy for busy's sake. And anyone who's with me now on mentoring, it's been noted that there's been a change, because I don't want to let them down and not helping them have a successful doTERRA business. So if I've got to have a tough conversation, which is, this is wonderful, but is it making the boat go faster? It's better to have that conversation now and then look together how they would like to grow their business, and then what bits we can put together, and then review it a little bit later to see if it's worked. Like, oh, you've got a 45-minute intro class. Everyone's leaving after 25 minutes. Okay, we need to cut it down. What's the title? An intro to essential oils isn't getting people through the door. Okay, because the name is rubbish. Let's have something far more exciting. It's those things. It's not a bad reflection on you. It's much better if you adapt. And that's what we've done. I mean, Lindsey, you were crying at the beginning of the month because you had 2 classes cancel.
I did.
Let's actually talk about that. Let's talk about that. What did the month look like? So basically, really good point I wanted to bring out is like, you actually set the intention, was it a year ago, to be Blue Diamond in March?
Yeah,
we changed our WhatsApp. We had a WhatsApp group called We Will Be Blue Diamond, and we changed it to We Are Presidential Diamond.
Love it.
And it might just sound simple, but it was a bit weird, wasn't it? We were like, and actually this was you, Nathan, because I always felt I needed to be quiet, and who am I? I'm just this little diamond in the UK, and I'm a guy, and I don't look like a wellness advocate, and I got nothing to offer. And you were the one that encouraged me to kind of step up, not be worrying about what other people said, because it's none of my business, right? So that was so key in being brave, in reaching out and actually being the best that I could be. And actually that opened the floodgates for me in just doing the things I really enjoy, giving 100%. And now it's so funny when people introduce
I know.
Lindsey,
I get introduced as Daniel's wife.
as my wife.
Yes,
You've done it,
success.
Daniel.
Success.
That
It's
was
done.
Steaming, wasn't it? That's
I'm
what
out.
was planned. Oh, unbelievable. I've got your back, Lynn, so know how
That
it
is
goes.
it.
All right. I'm delighted to be introduced as Daniel's wife. I'm happy with that.
But we should add
Yeah.
also just one thing.
Yeah.
I know, because a lot of people are doing it by themselves. Having a
Yes.
partner does not mean that's the only way you can be
Yes.
successful with doTERRA. There's so many people that do it themselves, and far more successfully than we do, but they work. And I think that's one of the key things, even in Romania. Oana is one of my most inspirational people I know within doTERRA. She's a single mum, came over to the UK, not speaking any English. She's Blue Diamond and moving on. And so I think, because quite often we get asked, you? You don't, but obviously it can have its benefits. So.
Yeah, I'd say if you're not doing it as a couple, then you definitely need a good accountability partner, whether that's your upline or crossline, doesn't really matter. Someone who's gonna have, like, say those things that Daniel says to me and to people in our team, that I think you do need someone like that, because that really helps you to keep moving forwards. But you asked us what the month looked like, I think, didn't you?
Yeah.
As well.
What did it look? So what?
And the build up.
Yeah, how much planning was there?
Yeah.
What did it look like? You know, the highs and lows kind of thing, like.
Yeah. So we had planned. We started planning it. Well, it was after Christmas. We started actually focusing on it and planning it. January ended up passing as it does, like that.
But we had looked at the volume last year, because I track volume quite a lot. And I could see that March is normally a good month, and September, October is normally a really good month. So it's kind of those things.
Yeah.
And we had actually got to the diamond, I think, in March that time as well. Similar.
Yeah, the first time we were diamond was March as well. Yeah. But we'd planned, so throughout the month of February, I was booking in hosted classes. So right from the beginning of February, actually no, even the end of January, I was booking in hosted classes, and I had options from the last week in February all the way through to the last week in March. And so I booked in as many hosted classes as I could. And some of them came back saying, oh, I can't do much. Can we do it after Easter? And I'm thinking, God, no. I was like, of course, let's do in May. And so I've got some hosted classes booked in for May, because of course it doesn't end after March, does it? And so that was one thing, is that I think it's important to not just kind of drop everything afterwards. And so I booked in as many as I could. And I think I ended up with 5 hosted classes on top of the other classes that I was doing as well, some online, and some in-person ones. And then we had 2 fairs that we booked in, with classes following on from those as well. So we'd really packed it in, as well as a massive family wedding in the middle. And like, so March was really busy.
Did you
Not just with doTERRA. Pardon?
Did you get your team on board? What did you do with them?
We did in January. Thanks, Nathan. Yeah, in January, when we had our team get together, it was actually, this was an interesting conversation for us, because we were kind of talking about like where they wanted to go and kind of some of their goals. And then I think it was
Danny. No,
was it
it's
Danny said, yeah, he said, so you should, what did they say that they need to tell us?
Yeah, they wanted to know, because we've been so and I actually prefer it focused on our leaders and help get them where they want to be, that they then said, oh, actually it's really inspiring to know what you want to do. And so that's when we said, and then they were like, oh, amazing, let's help you. And Catherine was particularly vocal, which is wonderful, which I think made all the rest of them have to do it, because she was so vocal. So thank you, Catherine.
That was in January that our team were kind of ready and raring to go. So yeah, thank you. That was a good point.
Just put in the chat if you were really pressured, okay?
Yeah.
Put that in the chat.
Just put help.
Yeah,
you know?
some help.
Oh,
get me out.
All right, guys, we're there for you. PTSD.
We were really keen. We were really keen to, because we remembered when you went for Presidential Diamond, you chose a really quiet month of December to do that. But we remembered how much we wanted to help you. And, you know, I can see Heather on here. I'm not going to go into what her challenges were, but that woman, my gosh, bless her, had the most ridiculous number of things to deal with. And obviously I'm thinking, oh man, this is not great timing, but I've still got to be a good friend to Heather. And she's like, oh, and one of the things that really touched me with Heather was like, I don't want to let you down. I want to do this. And we came up with a pretty straightforward kind of system of how it could work for her. And I love that. We kind of looked at what the issues were. She came up with a way to overcome them. And then what I've always found so exciting is like, oh, I've got another home essential kit. Oh, I got another one. And then I got this. And now this person I haven't spoken to for ages wants to do the business. And then this person wants to do this. And I must say that was our biggest thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Reaching out to people. We thought, oh gosh, it's been too long.
Like 5 years, honestly, like if 5, 6 years, some of them.
Yeah.
And actually that was one of those.
That's another point, isn't it? So some of the things that you were doing, like, tell us the things that you were doing, because like it was a stretch, right? What were the things? It wasn't just enrolling, was it?
Just before
no, it wasn't
that, I just want to say, because I think what's really important, and I love what you shared about your team, about how they're really on board with you. And I know it's because of that community you've built up in the past. It wasn't like a sudden, you know, oh, can we go with, you know, to Blue Diamond, can you help us? It was all that relationships, like the thing you're doing in January. You've built such lovely relationships with your team that they know that you care about them. You know, they think it's all about you. And it's
with that, Becky, especially, I think I know Danny and Heather and Sabrina and Nikki in particularly know how fierce I am with them and what they've built, and how I really am protective of them. And it's real. It's not something that if I say this will be all right. Like, I have laughed to death with these people. I have cried with these people as well. They have seen me in a really bad mood. They've seen me in a really good mood. we've gone through so much together that there is that connection, to the point I often joke with Nikki, I know where you live. You can't stop doing doTERRA. She's a little bit scared, but then she also understands a little bit real. Heather as well. I keep saying her, I shout her out. She can't stop. She can't. Sabrina can't. Catherine's Lindsay's
No.
sister.
Yeah.
It's absolute game over. Lisa
Honestly,
Lomas, like,
just text help, guys. Just text help.
like, it's not
Got ya.
just them, it's also then the people underneath as well. We've like
Yeah.
with Danny, Rachel, there's so many people, and then other leaders as well, like April have played a massive part. There's so many, and there's so many stories, and we're all at different stages of our lives at the moment, but there is real connection there.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Yeah,
it's
that's
very
brilliant.
cool.
I think that's what you've done amazingly. So yeah, go back to
Yeah,
it.
what were the other activities that you were doing that month? Yeah. So not just enrolling,
So,
you had to enroll like
yeah,
20, 30
classes.
people, Lindsay? That was your goal, right? Was it
So,
20?
that was what I was working on. Well, basically we were like, right, this is what we're allowed to buy in. This is the amount that is currently needed. And so my aim the whole month was making that gap as tiny as possible. That's what my aim was. So I wanted our buy-in to be as small as possible. And so that was what I focused on. And so whether that was existing customers or new customers. And so that's the hosted classes are my absolute favorite, because I don't have to find anyone and they all just come along, you know, and I sample them and I get them on a WhatsApp group before the class, and I send them each a sample, and I'm having conversations with them for like 2 weeks before the class. So I am now a real person to them, whether I'm meeting them online or face to face. And so we've got a relationship going on. I mean, we had an enrollment in Mexico because it was an online class. And I never thought I was like, well, I'm not sending you a sample, but I can definitely help you. And so that was a massive part of it. And then the second part of it was just literally going through our enrollments over the last 9 years, and going through the ones that, and I did kind of follow my intuition with them. I looked at like who do I feel like I should reach out to now, and then I went through that list again and again and again and again, and I reached out to, I mean, I don't know how many, I couldn't tell you how many. I've got my diaries just filled with names. I couldn't write on my page with my diaries anymore, but it was just contacting, and it wasn't just saying, hey, do you want to buy oils? It was reaching out on how they're doing, and then saying there's the best offer that doTERRA has ever had, and then saying, would you like to hear about it? And so that formula was so good, and it kind of comes back to GoPro, you know, the Eric Worre formula, where if I did this,
Was that?
what? Yeah, it was your message, babe.
Don't give it to Eric Worre. Take it off, Eric.
Eric Worre says, if I send you this, would you do this? Like, if I do this, I know Sabrina always says this, if I do this, would you do that? And so then Daniel perfected the message, and so that's the message that I
didn't know Eric
out to
Worre had done
everyone.
that.
Because you haven't read GoPro then.
Anyway,
I
basically,
thought,
Blue Diamond was all me.
I honestly thought Neil sent it to Lindsay. Go ahead.
One thing just to add what Lindsay said, I also, because I don't like talking to people about oils, I like talking to people about the business. That's what I'm really comfortable with. So actually it freaked me out to talk to people about oils and stuff. Like Eric Worre's a legend. Yeah, scratch that out. Daniel Plantin's a legend. Anyway, so Leanne, you are blocked. Get her off. I'm sure you're lovely. Okay. But I just wanted to share with you like how direct you can be with some people. Like there, I have Lindsay and I have a mutual couple friend. So I messaged him saying, afternoon, I'm messaging on some doTERRA business today, not our normal banter-filled messages. We're going for a new level in the doTERRA business this month. And there's a great offer on. So yes, I want your money, but a relatively small amount. If you spend £200, you'll get £100 of free stuff, because they would get Meta Power Advantage and then the Diamond Club oils. And then I said, I can make some suggestions of things you and Agne and the kids will actually use, so you won't be setting fire to money. Supplements, collagen, sleep, and some deep blue that Rory McIlroy uses. And then I put Also, I'm not sending this to many other people, but just figured this is where we are in our friendship. Full transparency, let me know. And then this was his reply. Hi, funnily enough, we were just talking yesterday that we needed to get in touch with for some doTERRA stuff. Absolutely, yes. Just let me know what we need to do next. So then Lindsey went and met with her, and they spent like
300,
400, 300,
yeah.
400 PV.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just
That's incredible, isn't
straight.
it?
Well, Lindsay, you also
Yeah.
did an every oil kit, right?
Every little kid.
You know, so
We're
like,
That's our second one now. It's not your second one. You did a business kit a few
Like,
months ago.
but what's
Yeah.
interesting though is, and I remember this when we've gone for big ranks and things like that, or when you're going for something, your mindset changes, doesn't it? When you're talking to people, you're like trying to go, okay, let's see how I can get the best value for them. Not, oh, I'm nervous if they're going to spend on a family essential kit, right? You're
Yeah.
trying to really marry the two up and try and help. So
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's someone I'd been talking to for a while, and so kind of in and then out and then in and then out, and then she's had all these circumstances going on. And so March it wasn't a quiet month. She had another family issue was going on. And so, but I had said I would reach out to her, so I did. And so that's when we were talking again, and I said, oh, actually, we could maybe contribute a little bit to your kit. And so that could help her. And so it's exactly as you say, like ultimately it was helping her and helping us. And so we were able to make that, get that over the line. And that was brilliant. And so she was really grateful, and obviously we were really pleased. And so it was, it was definitely a win-win for both for sure. But it was just keeping in touch. I think that was probably the key, is just keeping on nurturing that relationship. I didn't just kind of drop it when she didn't do it straight away. Just kind of kept, like, it's been 8 months, so it's been a while. So it hasn't just certainly been something that I've kind of now plucked her out of thin air. So I think nurturing those relationships definitely makes a big difference as well.
And knowing your audience, like there are some people you can message and be like, hey babe, there's a great offer, you got to get this now, or I'll never speak to you again. There are other people that need to be done a different way, but we did have a lot of people that we've spoken to a long time.
Yeah. I think the way I worded it was that, I know it's been a while, maybe now would be a good time to stock up on some of your favorites or some of your vitamins. And so that was how the people who hadn't ordered for ages, maybe for 5-6 years, that was how I worded it, is that I know that they've used oils in the past and maybe they're out of them, or, and so that was probably one of the big things, is lots and lots of messaging. So every time I was like, till 9 o'clock I'm messaging, just don't talk to me till 9 o'clock. That's the acceptable time.
Yeah.
9 o'clock is never very acceptable unless they're messaging me, and then I can carry on. So that's it. Yeah,
that's brilliant. What I think is amazing, and I've seen this time and time again, and it's just showing again in your story, is that when you set a big intention and a goal, suddenly you start thinking differently, and your mind expands, and you suddenly think of the people, or it pushes you to do the next step more, or you just come up with these different ideas that you hadn't quite thought of, and you just get into this massive action, and things start opening up. Like, it's when you're committed and you're all in and you've got your vision, it still doesn't become about you, it becomes about helping them, but you just get all these different things come to you, like ideas and stuff, and you're willing to do it. You just go all in, don't you?
What I
That's
noticed about Daniel and Lindsay is when we're talking to them throughout that month and before, is that their language was different to how they'd ever spoken before, in terms of like, I'd be like, so are you ready? You think you're going to be able to do this? Have you got everything in plan? And their comments are, it's done, mate.
Yeah, it's a done deal.
We're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's already done.
Yeah.
So everything that they were looking at, because they had that mindset, which I think is probably, it would be cool for them to share what their biggest thing that got them through it. But I think it potentially is their belief or their knowing that they were going to do it, and then it changed everything, because then you're looking at everything about, well, I've got to do this.
I'm
going to do this. How do I make this happen?
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
Yeah. I think it comes back to Daniel's question: is it going to get us to Blue Diamond? I think that probably was the key question, isn't it? And it doesn't matter what that rank is. Is it getting you to your why? Is it getting you to the level of income that you need? Is it getting you closer to, whether it's a rank or just an income level, it doesn't matter. Like, is it getting you there? And if it's not, then maybe stop doing it.
Yeah, one of the things we have a blend for our team called Ignites, and I love that word Ignites. And one of the things I was really keen for March to be wasn't just about us getting to Blue Diamond, but was igniting a fire in people to help demonstrate that they can do this business and to actually well, I suppose you could say aggressively go, but actively try and build this business by speaking to people, getting them to classes, and then signing them up, and then getting them onto LRP and getting this momentum going. Because momentum is easy when things are going well, but a lot of people start with sort of 3, 4, 5 hours in a week. Like, how can we create an impact for someone who's only got 3, 4, or 5 hours in a week? Well, they need to be focusing on finding people and then getting them to classes that potentially their upline or their mentor is doing, and having that kind of teamwork. I know a number of our leaders had regular classes every week that their downline could invite people to. So there was a plan, and we often call it a customer journey. Like, what are you going to do when you meet this person? Because a lot of us just freak out. We're like, oh, I don't know what to do. But if you have that plan of what you're going to say, where they're going to go, what's going to happen after they enroll, and what those steps are, actually, you're pretty chilled because you've got this solid foundation. And then once you know you have that foundation, you'll speak more confidently to people about the oils and be braver, because you know you're going to get them to do those steps, and that it's going to be a really, really impactful thing on them and their lives. And then once they've had that positive experience, you can make it go even more. So, but we knew what we needed to do. Like, I mean, we had a goal of 20 enrollments, and we certainly did that. We did have to dot some around, and
Even with
some...
2 hosted classes cancelling.
Yeah, they had that. And then on the last day of the month, I was in Yorkshire with Lisa Lomas. We were doing a fair. I gave the most non-compliant class ever. Compliance weren't there. I literally had such a laugh. And then afterwards, these floods of people came down, and it was wonderful. Lisa and I there, we got 2 home essential kits sold there, and a lady that was super interested in the business. We were just thrilled. We probably spent all of our money afterwards on vegan treats and stuff afterwards, but still, it was great. But one of the things Lindsey used to do, and I know you used to do a lot, Rebecca, is go up and down the country to teach a class, then come back home, and then the next week go back up there to teach again or to do a fair. And those things really inspired me. It's kind of like old school now to build doTERRA that way, in a way, because it might think it's not that productive, but certainly fairs were really great for us. Not super expensive ones that were £100, and being really clear with our messaging. Try the purest essential oils, buy this single kit. Not confusing, very simple messaging, and that really helped. And I think moving forward, that's something we want to do more and more. And I've just been so excited. And like I said, that ignition of it all now, I can really see it in our leaders, because our phone won't stop now, which is I love and hate in equal measures. But it's just really exciting. And I know I apologize to anyone on the call for those 3-way calls I've not yet booked in with you. I will, I promise. I can see someone smiling because they know I owe them 3. So, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing, amazing. And just quickly, like, how did you overcome your main challenges, would you say? Like, what was the thing that did keep you going during those low times? Because you mentioned you've had those low times, and now you've got these incredible highs. And it is still going to be a bit like this. That's the journey, isn't it? What keeps you going? How do you get through those?
I think reflecting on the impact it's had on our lives. I think always coming back to that. So coming back to the lifestyle it's created. I mean, you mentioned we're in France. We're in France because we're here for a trial week for our children who are going to a school that they will be going to in September, because we can do that. And that's massively thanks to doTERRA that we can do this, because we will continue with our business just in another country. And so we can do that And so always reflecting on like having someone to talk to about when, like, yeah, I get upset, and Daniel's already said I cry about things, and this happens and I feel really sad about it. And so I'll have a cry and I'll have a little, like, let it out. And then I kind of put my big girl pants on, and then off we go again, because I know that this is our best way. And so whether I'm upset about it or whining to Bex about it or whatever it might be, because I have done that as well, I know this is the best route that we have available to us. And so that is, even though I might change how I feel about it, I still know that, and that doesn't change. So I think, again, being around leaders who have really strong belief is really helpful to me. Being around people who are really going for it, who are really moving and making things happen, is really helpful to me. Equally, being around people who have a lifestyle that they don't like also motivates me, because it makes me feel like this could be really hard. And part of some of the process that we're going through with this means that I'm likely going to be having to work a little bit in a school in order to facilitate some of the things that need to happen, not because I need to for ourselves, but because that's going to facilitate our children going to the school. And for the first time in 9.5 years, I'm going to have, the first time in 12 years, I'm going to have someone who tells me what to do. I'm going to have someone else's timetable imposed on me. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm going to enjoy other parts of it, but that part, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't had this for ages, because we don't have this in doTERRA. We set our timetable, we set all of our, when we go away, all of those things. And so I think if you always come back to what it can do, maybe it's not doing it yet, but what it can do if you reach your goals. And you only don't reach your goals if you stop trying, right? That's the only way we fail in doTERRA. If we stop doing it, you've definitely failed. If you don't stop, you will get there. It's just a matter of time. We will get there. And so maybe it feels really far away, but just kind of creating the blocks along the way, to me, is the way you get to the end goal. So if you picture and really, and I know we've said this before, like, make it real. Like, how does it feel? What consequence does it create for you to reach that income level, that rank, or for your team to reach that income level and that rank? How does that feel? Like, what does that create for you and for them? And then make that picture like crystal clear in your mind. And I think that from that onwards, it's only a matter of time, and you ride the lows and then you get back up again. It's not, the lows are not deciding what's going to happen next. You just, deal with them, crumble, and then pick yourself back up again and carry on. Brilliant. So that would be what.
And then for me, is two things. So you've heard of these WIGs, right? These wildly important goals. So my wildly important goal is to have 100 people on our team be gold. With third level power 3. The reason being is that we've helped people do that before, so I can confidently say that I can help someone do that. And also it's the impact that will then have on all of those people, not just those that are gold with a third level, but those that are premier with a second level power 3, earning £400 or £500 a month. That can be mortgage payment, food. It can be a mum who's always having to go to their husband to ask for handouts, feeling really marginalized, when they don't need to. People who have been mums or not mums, who have been used to, being recognized. Now it's just expected. The impact that it has on those people. And then I look at the impact doTERRA has had on us as a family and on people. I find it so inspiring. I love that quote. If you're the most intelligent or inspirational person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. Most of the rooms that I'm in with doTERRA, I feel really honored to be there, and I'm always learning, and I love that. But it's certainly not without its challenges, but I know that it's worth it. doTERRA is the best decision you can make, full stop. It just is. So if you make the decision to do it, then you need that plan. And if you work, and this is the key part, it's network marketing. Like, I see it so much, but it is so worth it. I know it's weird in the beginning where you work 10 hours and you might only get 30 quid, and that's very odd. but you're not looking, it's not that, you're looking to build something so much bigger for you and those other people. Now, I did have one really low point sort of around the 20th, maybe. I was feeling pretty desperate, pretty down. But not that it wouldn't happen, just some things had transpired and I was feeling really low. And what was the lovely, lovely thing that I could do is I knew exactly what I needed to do, and that was call Nathan. So I think I messaged you and I said, oh, can we have a chat? And I think you called me about 1 a.m. Because we're both night owls. And Nathan has this incredible thing of where he doesn't say something magical, but it's the way you say it seems so doable, and the way you frame it. After you had spoken for about 2 minutes, I was like, right, I'm fine. I can get off now. Your magic, you made your magic wand, but it was just so important to me to have that person to go to when I needed you. And that's what I want to be able to do. And I know Lindsey does for our team, is that there will come that point. That's where you need to reach out and go, just unload, and then let that kind of be played back to you and maybe reframed, and then you go, because you know how important it is, not just for you, but for others. So we're forever grateful to Nathan and Becky for everything. If I didn't meet Becky that one time, I never would have met Lindsey. And then we never would have done doTERRA. We never would have had our third baby in Luke. We never would have traveled the world with all of our children. We never would have been here. We never would have both spoken at convention. The list is endless, and it's not even the people that we have met collectively, the holidays, the travel, everything. And we want that for all of our team members and Crossline as well, which is a big thing. So I love about doTERRA, and I think that's why I do the artwork, because I know loads of you will spend hours doing it. Instead, you can grab that artwork and then you can go and do something else. And yeah, I just love doTERRA. It's the best thing you can ever do.
Thank you, mate. That's
amazing.
lovely. That's lovely to share.
I think one last thing to say, and I need to close. I'm just pondering while Daniel was just talking, and just that was one of the things that really, really that really touched me actually after we reached Blue Diamond, was how much everyone was so supportive, and I just felt really, really valued and really loved from so many leaders all over Europe. And it really blew me away, absolutely blew me away, because I love these people. We've kind of grown up with them as parents as well as doTERRA people, and but they're distant. We don't always see them that much, and it just absolutely blew me away, and just really, really. So thank you to everyone. When I put the thank yous on all the messages, honestly, it didn't do it justice at all. So with all my heart, it really, really meant a lot. So thank you. Sorry.
No, that's lovely. And you guys are so loved, and it shows again that when you give, you think you're giving, you always get so much more back, don't you? You always get so much back. And you guys deserve it. You both give so much, and it was beautiful to see. You so deserve it.
We were going to open up to questions, but I think we'll.
Yeah, well. But
there is a burning question that quite a few people are wanting to ask: is what was the title of your intro class?
It's not anything magical. I've just named it "Happy, Healthy, and Thriving."
Thank you, Lindsey.
Amazing. It's good. Definitely better than intro to essential oils. Thank you so much.
That was really inspiring, wonderful,
So
guys.
inspiring.
And we're just very grateful to have you and all of your wonderful team on our team as well.
So grateful.
Along with the wonderful community that we have as the wider team as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bex and Nathan. Really, really thank you. And everyone. I can't even see, I haven't seen all the chat. So thank you. Thank you for all the lovely things. Amazing.
Thank you, guys. Go and enjoy your time in France.
So we'll leave it on that, and bye, everyone.
guys.
Good night, everyone.
Mwah. Head banging after tears. Just reading the chat quickly. Have you had a chance to look at the chat and then?
Yeah, I'm just looking through the chat because I haven't read it yet.
Hmm.